Hi, I'm Blizzard Planet. This is Self-Friendship Podcast, where playfulness meets societal reflection. Through the lens of self-friendship, the daily practice of embracing, understanding, and enjoying ourselves, I hopefully inspire you to critically think, creatively think, and optimistically approach life. Imagine this. You hopped on the band rocket, and now you're on Planit Butter, a world made of delicious, sparkly peanut butter, and an adorable disco ball of self-reflection is whirling around in her transforming convertible. Thanks for joining me in my 48th episode. Some of what I'll be sharing includes my answer to last week's question of the week, a note on phonetic hypnosis, an expression of intimacy, conscious ignorance, a note on committing to boundaries, a party of one, a perspective dance with death, how to navigate hardships, and as always, a brand new question at the end for all of us to self-reflect and self-connect and email me, selfriendshippodcast@gmail.com. My answer to last week's question of the week, which was, my default question at all times to myself is, how can I make this fun for myself? I sincerely go into everything as if it's already fun. And especially when there's other people involved, whether it's a trip to the immigration office, the hospital, a coffee shop, I find a way to make the conversations I have playful or light in some capacity, making it fun. I laugh, they laugh, and even if they don't laugh, I laugh. I'm having fun with myself, for myself, as myself. You see? Party of one. I also love the challenge of getting people to laugh who don't seem like they're ready to. Like, I had a few podcast interviews last week, and when I was doing my research for them, there was one in particular where the person seemed rather serious. And the conversations that they had, while they were interesting, they were not what I would call fun. So I was really excited to be interviewed by this person to see how I can turn it into play. And I did. It went so well. We went well over the intended recording time, having a super fun chat. Woohoo! Self-friendship. The other layer of this to note is the positive influence my party of one had on this person. This is the value of showing up for ourselves. It inevitably has a positive influence on others. And then their positive experience influences the people that they interact with. It makes me think of the movie Pay It Forward. I love that movie. I think it came out in the 90s. Check it out. Great movie. Great message. A little sad, but beautiful. All right. Now, a quote that deeply resonated with me, which is not an easy feat. I have very high standards for quotes that resonate with me that aren't mine. Okay. If you're fun to play with, the universe will have fun playing with you. Jason Love on Rick Rubin's podcast, Tetragrammaton. I immensely respect Rick Rubin and his book. Well, I don't know him. I respect his work and his book, The Creative. I don't know him yet. We'll get there. His book, The Creative Act, as you know, if you've been on Planit Butter's Instagram for a while, I recently shared with Patrice Bonfoglio on her podcast, The Burnout Club, that I want Rick to write the foreword to Planit Butter's chapter book, Two Types of Selfishness, The Self-Friendship Renaissance. Okay, so I just dumped a lot on you guys, and I want that quote to land. So if you're fun to play with, the universe will have fun playing with you. Jason Love. Thanks, Jason. Now, a note on phonetic hypnosis. I recently learned about phonetic hypnosis, and the phrase itself caught me. And so when I looked into it, I realized I had been doing it intuitively/subconsciously. So I'm going to call myself out for it now while sharing the knowledge with you guys. So phonetic hypnosis involves the use of sound, rhythm, and patterns in speech to influence or entrain the listener's mind. Similarly to how phonetic patterns, tones, or rhythms in language and speech, especially through repetition, can create a trance-like state, where listeners are more absorbed in the messaging. So, if you haven't noticed, I'll regularly deliver the Introduction to Self-Friendship podcast, the definition of self-friendship, the daily practice of embracing, understanding, and enjoying ourselves, party of one, and perspective dance, amongst other things, in a specific tone and pace amongst my intentional language choices. So I'm hypnotizing you into having fun and being friends with yourself. You're welcome. I'm so amused. Amused and changing the world. Bang. So cool. Okay, now the power of physical space for our expansion. I've been a beach girl for about 7 years now, and the longest time I spent away from a large body of water was when I lived in the rice fields up north in Bali for about a month. The lack of ocean was honestly a concern despite my excitement for the adventure, but it absolutely felt aligned, so we did what we do and we trusted the uni. And in my time there, because the rice fields and jungle were exceptionally spacious, much like the ocean, I quickly realized that physical space is actually superior to the ocean for me. The ocean is my preferred way to experience the physically expansive space, amongst a zillion other reasons why I love the ocean. However, I did learn that physical space is superior in terms of positive influence on my life, and get this, I believe that it must directly influence my capacity for my personal life's expansion. Our external environment directly influences our internal state of being. So if we have a physically expansive space to immerse in, we can internalize it, resulting in the embodiment of expansiveness more easily as well. Seeing it, being it. It's like living proof for expansion. Yay! Now, this one's juicy, gentlemen and ladies. I hope there are some ladies here, but as of present, my audience is 98% men. So hello, gentlemen. Okay, an expression of intimacy. So one of the things that I pride myself on is leading by example, preaching what I practice. I've said this a bunch. There's also an article on it on the Planit Butter publication posted on Substack titled Preach What You Practice. Check it out. Okay, so I pride myself on leading by example, and I show up in my self-friendship practice, do my best to share my discoveries, experiences, and theories with you. I was recently at a women's circle where we were asked to express our top 3 priorities in a romantic relationship and elaborate on each. I'm excited to share my priorities with an audience that's mostly men because as someone with exceptionally high standards, I hope to inspire you to self-reflect and self-connect on your own standards, what you might be accepting compared to what you actually want to welcome into your world, and to have a little insight into a woman's brain who has high standards. Got you covered, babies. Okay, so my 3 priorities: alignment, big surprise; healthy challenge, also big surprise; and safety. Safety. Okay, alignment, healthy challenge, and safety. So to elaborate on each. Alignment, I said, physically, mentally, and emotionally synchronized with each other while still prioritizing our own best interests. We come together because we each prioritize what's best for ourselves, and our dynamic is the natural outcome of that. As for healthy challenge, I said, someone who is emotionally and intellectually on my level, understanding both how I want to grow and how they want to grow. We hold each other to the same standards we set for ourselves while still admiring who we are in the present. And third, safety. Complete safety. Physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually. I can be my full self in all my forms. He can too. We can share anything, say anything, and be unapologetically transparent and direct. Nothing is taken personally. Everything is viewed as a way to improve the relationship, which stands as an external entity beyond ourselves. We can go anywhere and do anything, with me trusting him to lead and protect my well-being while I fully receive his vulnerability and efforts. Love. There's also an article on Planit Butter's publication hosted on Substack that's titled Love is Easy, Self-Friendship is in Love. Something like that. I'll link it in the show notes. Okay, now, conscious ignorance. Conscious ignorance is knowing and choosing to neglect everything that does not fuel our alignment, our role in the ever-expansive universe. Okay, now a self-friendship article snippet. Into-centricism meet hermeticism. As it turns out, some of Planit Butter's belief system, into-centricism, which prioritizes our intuition and embodies the pursuit of self-control and self-expression, leading to the collective expansion of society, aligns with some of the pre-existing concept of hermeticism. How cool! I love when I reach my own conclusions and discover that other people or groups of people equally independently arrived at the same conclusions or ideas. The magic of wonder, exploring our minds, reflecting on existence, and further expanding on innovation, creativity, and connecting not so unique thoughts, yet arriving uniquely. Our how will always be different from one another. That's part of the magic. In Hermetic thought, the universe is seen as a reflection of divine order and interconnectedness, where every element, from the stars to the smallest creatures, holds symbolic meaning. That everything around us is a symbol, reflecting deeper truths. That everything in our surroundings is constantly communicating with us. This is aligned with my article, Signs Are the Language of the Uni, where I playfully embody and convey the same concept. Hermeticism also has a principle that everything is nature, which is also the same conclusion I drew in relation to technology in my article, Transcending Limitations. Given my love and practice of perspective dancing, critical thinking, and creative thinking, I'm excited to explore the contrast of linear thinking. Read or listen to the rest of the article on Planit Butter's publication hosted on Substack. planitbutter.substack.com. Okay, now a note on committing to boundaries. We all love boundaries, or so I hope. We'll get there. Okay, sometimes it's difficult to stick to a boundary. Sometimes we set boundaries we either haven't previously set, or in some instances, we don't want to have to set. But we have to in order to prioritize our own best interest and well-being. This is where our commitment comes in. By setting the boundary once, we increase our confidence and become in alignment. The 3 core methods to activate self-friendship, boundaries, confidence, alignment. This ultimately makes us more prone to continue to take action that perpetuates this cycle, creating lasting change. This point was just to raise awareness to the fact that sometimes it's hard, but cultivating the awareness around it and understanding that sticking to things that we don't want to have to do is part of what's in our best interest sometimes. And we can have fun doing it because we love a healthy challenge. Okay, now, following that, very important, a note on standards. We don't change our standards. We take them elsewhere. In taking them elsewhere, indifference is our superpower. If we are not indifferent, then some part of our energy is invested in what is not meeting our standards. And what we accept is what we deserve. Accept what you deserve, and what you deserve are your standards. Keep those standards high, baby. I love that one. I actually shared that on Planit Butter's Instagram, and I got a lot of really positive feedback, so I was excited to share that with you guys. Okay. What was really cool about it is that a lot of you guys were messaging saying it was like the perfect timing to receive that. And I just love when that happens because alignment. Yay. Okay. Now, a party of one. As a loving reminder, party of one means having fun with oneself, for oneself, as oneself, anywhere, everywhere, no matter who's there. We become our party of one by consistently practicing self-friendship. Each episode, I share little tidbits from my life that happen thanks to me showing up in the world as my party of one. First, here's a reminder of an affirmation I made up. Today, my work is to receive while the universe and my previous efforts provide for me. The other day, I had one of those types of days, a day to receive. So because I'm obsessed with building Planit Butter, sometimes I have to remind myself that what may appear or feel as though I'm not working on Planit Butter is always working on Planit Butter. When I am in receiving mode, I am still working on Planit Butter. A lot of ideas and realizations come to me during my adventures, my parties of one, and the adventures themselves are used as Planit Butter material. And it respects my concept of passing the baton, which is the better version of letting go. In giving the uni space, it needs to do what it needs to do in support of me and you when you apply this to you. So I went about my day focusing on receiving in ways that I know are relaxing and nurturing for me and my well-being, which is in turn in my best interest and therefore in the world's best interest. And while I'm doing that, we have zero idea or ability to comprehend the level that the uni has been up to the entire day. I mean, the level of magic that the uni has been up to. We don't know what the uni's doing while we're receiving. You know what I mean? Okay. Now, so what did I do that day? This is what I did. Ready? Well, I first realized I needed to go into receiving mode when I started to record my audio article because I was getting frustrated with the tech stuff. And normally I don't get frustrated with that stuff. And I love doing my audio articles. So if I'm getting frustrated while doing something I love, I probably just need to go into receiving mode. So I did. And then I got a yummy breakfast. I went to the beach. I got a massage. I went to aerial yoga relaxation. I had a creative jam session with my friend. And I did another beach walk, sauna, ice bath, a little socializing. All is well. Receive. Cool. Now, a perspective dance with religions. I say this with full respect for everyone's beliefs. However, religions are like one big game of telephone. That's it. Just think about it. All right. Now a perspective dance with death. Humans often find comfort in a sense of knowing until it comes to death. Death is a guarantee we know but don't understand. So instead of accepting it, for some reason we fear it. But if we find comfort in knowing, why not also find peace in knowing it's inevitable rather than fearing it? It's not very self-friendship of us to fear the inevitable. Now is it? Now, a reading consideration. I'm reading a book right now that I actually don't love. The structure and the writing style aren't exactly for me, but I really appreciate the concept, so I'm still reading it, approaching it from a critical thinking standpoint, as always. It's inspiration. Now, I'm super excited about this one. How to navigate hardships. I was laughing for a long time when I thought of this one. All right. So, how to navigate hardships. Self-talk is one thing. The way we narrate our life is an extension of our self-talk, the stories we tell ourselves. We're familiar with this idea of narratives. Lots of people talk about this a lot. I'm offering that during the moments of our more challenging life situations, instead of trying to convince ourselves that it's going to be okay with positive affirmations or whatever that our subconscious self just straight up doesn't believe or has a hard time believing, which really just makes us feel like we're lying to ourselves, and that ultimately worsens our emotional state. So instead of all of that, to be objective and playful as much as possible, as we do on Planit Butter, I'm encouraging that once we cultivate the awareness of the challenging time, we can begin to detach and become optimistic by narrating the situation with the most absurdly incredible and amazing outcome you can possibly imagine. So narrate the situation like, okay, insert whatever your hardship is, say it out loud, and then make a dramatic pivot. And then I was on my way to a meeting when I got a phone call from Cirrus Aircraft, a private jet charter company, discovered Planit Butter and wants to bring my Planit Butter jet dream to life. And they're sponsoring Self-Friendship Podcast to be recorded while in flight for as many episodes as I want. And they're going to provide pizza, my sparkly Planit Butter, and coconuts. I can go on, but I'll stop. You get the idea. Hello, Cirrus Aircrafts. Okay. You with me? Go try it. Have fun. Let me know how it goes. Okay. Almost lastly, second to lastly, a sneaky snug. When you catch yourself with your arms crossed, slowly transition to a hug. Give yourself a little squeeze and then let it go. It'll shift into a giggle and you'll give yourself a little love. And lastly, the question of the week for all of us to self-reflect and self-connect, and email me, selffriendshippodcast@gmail.com. Where in your life can you integrate conscious ignorance? Again, conscious ignorance is knowing and choosing to neglect everything that does not fuel our alignment, our role in the ever-expansive universe. Let me know your answers. selffriendshippodcast@gmail.com. All right, we did it again. Woohoo! Bonus Self-Friendship Podcast episodes featuring your world. Each selected submission will be its own episode where I'll be giving my perspective, dancing, and opinions through the lens of self-friendship. This is, of course, not a substitute for professional support. The bonus episodes will be available every other week exclusively for founding members of Planit Butter's publication, hosted on Substack, beginning this Sunday, November 2nd, 2024. Subscribe to be notified and receive more playfully helpful content on planetbutter.substack.com/subscribe. planetbutter.substack.com/subscribe. The link is also in the show notes or the link in my Instagram bio at Planit Butter, PLANIT. And the world's first coffee table book with a lesson, Party of One. Self-Friendship in Action is available internationally on planetbutter.com. And please subscribe and review wherever you're watching or listening to this. It's super helpful and super appreciated. Thanks for landing on Planit Butter. I'll see you next Thursday. From my planet to yours, Blizzard.